Oh my God.
All right.
It's heaven.
All right. Well,
that is no swamp ass.
Welcome everybody to another episode of the Chop Sports Daily, coming to you live from the Flipping Made Easy studio right here in beautiful downtown Matawan, New Jersey, broadcasting live from the Cabinet Creations Sports Desk. We got a packed house in here, folks. It is a big, big day for Chop Sports. We'll get into that in a second, but if you're watching this right now, it is Sturch, it is Gooch, it is Dina, it is A4, it is Wrestling Rob, it is Chris Payne is also here. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a packed house, so one less view. Are you okay, Payne? This is happening right now. All right, where are you going?
He's crawling.
He is.
Where's he going?
Where is he going already? He's literally in front. He forgot something and okay, phone. Oh, his phone.
I can see his ass crack.
Yeah, that's
right
a
now.
lot of ass crack to start today's show. So Chris Payne is in the building as well. So he's not protecting or serving anybody. If you want to support Chop Sports right now, you could do so by heading on over to patreon.com/Chop Sports. By the way, I rotate days. I just go / // Nobody really cares.
It's always
I get it, but I just, I'm in my mindset here. So anyway, Chop Sports on Patreon. Go support us. $3, $5, $10. We appreciate you guys. Of course, all the new ones that came on as of late. My buddy Kevin Cooper, Bailey, guys, Michael Fusco. They've all come on to the Patreon, helping Chop Sports grow. Speaking of growth, ladies and gentlemen, we are here today on March the 31st, 2022, to announce that Chop Sports has broke the 1,000 barrier subscriber mark. Ladies and gentlemen, give us a round of applause. That's what I'm talking about. Dude, it's a long time coming. Oh, look at this motherfucker. I'm telling
First and last.
I know. I know. But notice how when it happened, he threw the mic in front of his, you should put that on. Anyway, so yes, 1,000 subscribers. Ladies and gentlemen, 60 people overnight. 60, and pushing us to 1,019 officially. And we would like to thank Scoop for his Mariano Rivera efforts, where he told me he'd like to close this out for us. And he literally spammed his entire phone book, probably people that he hasn't even spoke to in years, and says, just click here. Thank you very much. I don't know what kind of threats he might have. You all right there, bro? I know it's exciting stuff. But anyway, so 1,000 subscribers. It now officially enables Chop Sports to monetize this show. So we actually make some do-re-mi. How much? Well, don't ask. It's probably not a lot to start, but
no, it's definitely not a lot.
It's definitely not a lot. But listen,
definitely not a lot.
But the opportunity is there
to make a lot. So
yes, the opportunity is there. We're on our way. So thank you for everybody for subscribing to the. You all right there, bro?
Yeah. Pay
Just
no
dusty?
mind. Pay me no mind. Just cleaning.
Oh wow! All right, send them a link. So we'll do that in a second. It's quite simple. I'm gonna probably send it to you during Dina's read. So you just jump on right after that. Just when I have the time. But anyway, also Dat Chat, over 350 members right now in the Chop Sports group there for Dat Chat. So be sure to do that unless you want to take care of that. Thank you so much, Gooch. And big week for Jimmy Palumbo. He'll be joining us in studio tomorrow. Tomorrow, we got ourselves a very, very big show. It is Jimmy Palumbo in studio for a final push, because tomorrow night and Saturday night, he goes live at the Avenel Performing Arts Center. He was on New Jersey 101.5 last night promoting the show. Hopefully, he dropped Chop Sports on there. We were supposed to go with him, but we just didn't. But yeah, so Friday and Saturday night for Jimmy. I'll be there on Friday night to greet all you animals out there in Avenel. And of course, there's a place, I believe that bar is called Curtains, if I'm not mistaken, is the official after party, before party, during party. It is literally a bar in the lobby. So find me at the bar after I get set putting up the camera. Yeah, so that's Jimmy. A few meetings lined up today. We got some big NIL stuff potentially happening with some future college football players.
I'll be with you in a moment, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, no, he's hooking it up over there. You can send it to his email, by the way, too. Oh, all right. Well, whatever. Yeah, I'm sure he can send it to his own email if need be. Oh, the chat. Okay, perfect. Also, if you're not doing anything and you're a professional wrestling fan tonight, 6 o'clock, I will be the English commentary for AAA as they go into WrestleCon. Big week. Me and Chris Payne were just talking about our trip down to Florida, Orlando, Florida, back in 2017 for WrestleCon. Very good trip. Don't remember most of it. It was a good time. WrestlePro went down there, so very excited. Ask Payne if he wants to jump on the cross court cast to debate us. If Payne's around 4 o'clock, he can come on back and get on. It doesn't matter to me. But he's here today, for starters at least, to see what he's doing. And he brought a bunch of action figures and stuff for us to put around the studio.
I'm big on goodies.
He's big on goodies. He always brings
I like props.
I totally thought he was bringing in bagels with the bag that he had. So
Wow.
it was a letdown. Then he handed me Brett Favre thing. So I was like, all right, it's cool. It's cool.
Getting a little heavy over there.
He's seeing you in person. So anyway, new podcast available on the network today. Go check out All Star Vintage, who, by the way, Mark Jameson and Dom Morrow will be in studio here tomorrow to promote their show, to cut the shit with us, chop it up, have you. And, of course, a brand new episode of Till Mets Do Us Part. So those are the podcast promos. I do want to give a special shout-out, as Gooch returns to business, to the U.S. men's team. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the U.S. men's team have qualified for the World Cup. Okay, I know that a lot of people don't like soccer or they're not into soccer. What are we beeping?
Beep. That's the sound of the U.S. men's national team backing their way into the World Cup.
They actually
Took
lost.
a hot L from Costa Rica yesterday. I feel like
Costa Rica.
Look, nobody cares that nobody cares about soccer. No,
that's not true.
Nobody cares how they're going to get into the tournament. Once the World Cup starts, everybody's going to be on board with the United States. I personally don't know anything about soccer. So
apparently, according to our soccer correspondent, Ashley Mearfit, also France and Morocco both qualified for this World Cup. By the way, the World Cup this year is in November. What? Qatar. So where's Qatar? It's in the Mideast.
So my thing is this.
It's from the Midwest. Midwest. Go ahead.
We're going to do another geography.
So they can't have it in the summer.
It's deadly hot in there in the summer, so they can't have it in the summertime. They have it in November. Now, is this just a geographical thing and a region thing, or do they typically wait 6 months?
Okay, so geographic thing, that's cool. So the World Cup will be happening in November. So happy Thanksgiving. You can watch the Cowboys at 4, and you can watch the U.S. men's team hopefully win the World Cup.
Oh, man, the United States is up against football in soccer. Go figure. That's why the United States sucks in men's soccer. It's because they're up against football.
Well, they don't suck this year, Gooch. They're in the goddamn World Cup.
If you play soccer, then you can't play football and vice versa. I think that's a major issue for our development of our United States men's national team. You look at the women, they pretty much win every year, right? If the best athletes in the country got to play soccer from when they were 3 years old on, Odell Beckham would be dominating. Even Antonio
You're telling me they didn't play
crazy.
Soccer? Like Ocho Cinco, big soccer fan. You don't tell me he played soccer in the beginning of his life?
But where's the money for an Ocho Cinco when he's growing up?
Have you seen how much money what's this guy makes?
Now, I don't think Ocho Cinco played soccer because
Ronaldo.
Because if he did, then he would have gotten a scholarship to play soccer. I'm talking about, and if you play high school football, you can't play high school soccer, right?
Same time.
You just can't.
You got to choose one or the other.
So you have to choose one or the other.
And it's unfortunate because I know a lot of parents out there are probably choosing soccer over football lately.
Well, lately, I think that you're starting to see a shift, but I don't think you're seeing that same shift in the inner cities and where most of the NFL players come from. That's just it's not even my take. That's a fact. They're not playing soccer in these states down in Florida, Alabama. Like, these are football states. And even a lot of places around Jersey, it's still the same. Football.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Kids going golf.
All right. Well, Payne's saying that his kid's going to play some golf. So is my my godson. My godson's already smacking a ball like Happy Gilmore style. So I'm excited about
Nonetheless, go USA. Right?
Hey, are they going to get a raise now? That's good.
Who? The soccer team? Yeah, probably not.
No,
they're not going to get a raise.
It's all about the revenue.
Nobody cares about Thanksgiving outside of the U.S., so I wrote that down. I do want to shout out, before I get into anything else about the headlines that we're going to talk about, my New York Rangers have won 4 in a row, and they're 8-2 in their last 10. Look, A4. I know you're looking at me like it's okay. Well, you're waiting for the punchline here. This team could be sneaky good in the playoffs, and I understand that there's Pittsburgh and Carolina and Tampa and all these other teams. But if they keep playing the way they're playing, man, they can make a little bit of a run-ski. No? Anybody?
I think you're talking to the one guy here without a mic.
There's a mic right there. Just lean forward.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yeah. That was very passionate, but go ahead.
I mean, I don't disagree with you.
Feel something over there?
Like, I don't know. It's just like, depends on who they match up against. I think if you get Pittsburgh, I think that's going to be a win.
F. Crosby, by the way. Garbage.
And if you play Carolina, I think Carolina could beat you guys.
All right, sit back down. Nobody cares. Your opinion is valid right now, and the Rangers will take care of business. So let's go. What? Why is there a firearm in the studio? I'm kidding. Rob shot this. I'm a Rangers fan, but no cup this year. Hey, Rob, relax, bro. Hey, listen. Teams like this can get hot at the right time, which they are right now. 8-2 in their last 10. Bro, what's this guy? He's got 46 goals, bro. Kreider is playing out of his mind good. Just
I'm actually
be
about
patient.
to have that stroke you guys were talking about yesterday.
Why? Because we're
went from
talking
soccer
hockey?
to hockey.
Sorry.
It's like, can I fucking talk about something we
They're going
care
to play the
about?
Penguins round 1, according to Ruben. I think the Rangers could take it.
Okay.
F. Crosby. Crosby sucks. Let's go. Moving on. Anyway, ball in. We got football news. Broke yesterday. Last night. It looks like Bruce Arians has retired from coaching, at least. He'll be moving over to the front office. But also, Todd Bowles, in the same breath, will be taking over as the head coach, a 5-year deal. Now, there's a lot to talk about with this because, one, why did this happen, Gooch? Why out of nowhere did Bruce Arians say, you know what? The hell with this. I'm done. I want to go to the front office. Do you think it's health? Do you think he hates Tom Brady? Where do you see this? Why this
the
happened?
The timing of it is a little bit strange.
Yeah, right before the draft.
It's right before the draft. So that leads me to believe that it might have something to do with health or just the fact that his family might be giving him shit. I'm pretty sure Bruce Arians is in his mid-70s at this point. The oldest
he's
coach,
got his literally like
if
his
not him,
pacemaker
it's Pete
on
Carroll
his.
or him, one of the oldest coaches
on
in the
his
league.
chest.
Bruce Arians has been around a long time, and I think it's maybe a combination of the two. Todd Bowles and Bruce Arians have definitely had history together. They go all the way back to Temple days. Shout out to Ashmere Fit, Temple alum. So I had to throw that in there. But yeah, I think that Todd Bowles, it was his job to. It was one of either Leftwich or Todd Bowles that its job was in the waiting.
I'm very surprised it wasn't
So,
Leftwich. Leftwich
If
was
it
supposed to
wasn't
be the
that
guy.
case, maybe that's why they let Arians kind of sit on it a little bit and give him some time. It could have been an organizational thing where they knew that they had their coach in waiting there. So there was no real urgency to move forward because the rest of the coaches weren't really involved in the hiring process.
Okay.
They had their coach within, so it gave them that flexibility. But yeah, I do agree that it has to be the age thing or possibly a health thing. And I'm sure he's getting paid very similar now that he moved into the front office role.
Yeah. The only thing about Todd Bowles is, everybody kind of expected Leftwich to be the guy, as did I. That was where I thought if anybody was going to, what's the word I'm looking for? Succeed.
The heir apparent.
Succeed.
Succeed.
Yeah, succeed him. It would have been Leftwich because of the offense was moving in the right direction. B, you had Tom Brady. You know what I mean? Like, so things were, and then Tom Brady coming back would lead me to believe that Arians kind of was like, nice,
Well,
but all of a sudden he's just like, nah.
There is like one of those where there's smoke, there's fire type situations because when Brady retired, the media does what they always do and they try and drive a stake. If you could try and pull up the Tom Brady tweet that he put up this morning about him thanking Bruce Arians, or he did it last
put it
night,
on the old
just so we
Gramsci.
could get some clarification on exactly where Tom Brady stands with the Bruce Arians.
He's getting traded to the Dolphins.
Or at least publicly.
By the way.
At least he's not going anywhere.
Oh, okay.
You're
right.
You could make the case that Tom Brady forced this if you really want to be a dick and try and create a story where
Tom Brady forced this in a way of saying like
he had
him,
there was a rift between him and Bruce Arians.
Was there, though?
philosophy, but that was the news that was coming out in that 40-day period where Brady was retired. There was a lot of but sources, we don't know who they were saying that Tom Brady wasn't happy with the way things were running, and he would go into the meetings in the morning with Leftwich, and they would set up the game plan, and then Bruce Arians would come in like 2 hours later and just make changes without saying anything. So he was doing edits to what they were doing, and Brady felt, this is according to sources, Brady felt that if you're going to make some changes, like just be in the meeting and we'll have this conversation together. So Brady obviously is a very calculated guy. So I guess there's a chance that he did it, but I don't think he has the power there. I don't think Brady has that power in Tampa Bay right now on the 1-year basis that he's on.
Okay.
Well, I don't like to bash people, but Bruce Arians has always come off like a dick.
Yeah.
He hasn't. I mean, he hasn't been the player's coach that everybody says he is. I mean, the whole Antonio Brown. We'll get into him in a second.
Well, he had a nice response. He said, "Thanks, brother," to Tom Brady. Like, so Tom Brady and Bruce Arians, I guess they're brothers.
Oh, that's cool.
Right.
But moving on to Todd Bowles now, some of the stats that we've pulled up on him. I mean, look, he's been a head coach. We all know if you're a Jets fan, you went through the Todd Bowles era. Guys, he's 26-41 as a head coach. So clearly he is in the realm of Wade Phillips. He's in the realm of these guys that fall under the better coordinators, lesser head coaches. That's how I look at Todd Bowles. Why he's getting this job over Leftwich, again, I don't know. Maybe the experience factor has been there, not his first rodeo. You know what I mean? Like, this is his first, not his first go around as a head coach.
I have some interesting tidbits courtesy of our boy Rob over there.
Wrestling Rob.
So a little history on Todd Bowles. He played at Temple under Bruce Arians. We said that before. So
Yeah.
then I believe he actually went on to coach at Temple as well.
Wait a
I'm not
minute.
positive.
Wait. Let me pause you right there. Todd Bowles played for Bruce Arians?
At Temple.
How fucking old is Bruce Arians?
69.
Todd
He's
Bowles
69.
looks like he's old too. Like,
Bruce
holy
Arians is an
shit.
older dude. Yeah.
That's
No, he's
insane.
69.
74,
He's 69.
69.
He's
I thought he was
69
70.
It
years
just
old.
seems like
Anyway,
anyway, go ahead,
Todd
sorry.
Bowles also probably isn't that old either. You know, he played in the league 8 seasons. I'm not sure what seasons, but he started off his coaching career in the NFL, that is, because I do believe he did coach at Temple a little bit, at least as an assistant. In 95, 96 with the Packers, I'm pretty sure he won a Super Bowl with them as an assistant because they won it in 96. So that's where he, you know, right out of the gate, he was with a good team. He bounced around college a little bit until 2000. He came back to the Dolphins, and he was the interim head coach for 3 games when Tony Sparano was fired.
And that got him.
That
Jets
got
job.
him. Well, yeah, that got him. Was that the Jets or the Arizona? defensive
No, the Jets
coordinator
job.
No, he went to Arizona
He,
first.
he went to Arizona first. I
Yeah.
believe he was a defensive coordinator for the
For what,
Cardinals.
1
and then
year?
2 years. 13.
Okay,
Also,
so I'm 1 year
under,
off.
No,
also
man.
under Bruce Arians.
Yes.
Wow.
I
So-
believe.
So there you go. So then there's a lot of lineage here.
Well, Bruce Arians was a Pittsburgh guy for a little bit. He was the offensive coordinator in Pittsburgh, and he was working with Big Ben. So he had a lot to do with what was going on in Pittsburgh in the early days with Big Ben. Then, obviously, Bruce Arians, Todd Bowles takes the job with the New York Jets. He has a good season right away, 10 wins out of the gate, but then he won a 14 combined games over the course of the next 3 seasons. So
You blame
he
that
had
on
his-
talent?
I blame it on talent, front office, and probably a flawed coaching philosophy with the roster that he had. Now, the Bucs roster is far better than the one that the Jets were putting out
Who
there.
were your Jets guys over there? Who was Todd Bowles' quarterbacks
Here
for
we
the
go.
Jets?
I got you right here. Ready?
Mhm.
Geno Smith,
Oh, God. Okay.
Bryce Petty,
Oh, shit.
Josh McNown,
Oh, we're getting better.
Ryan Fitzpatrick,
That was a good
Love,
offensive
love,
season.
leg- Yeah, okay.
Sam Darnold. Those
Sam
are-
Darnold was
Sam-
one of his-
Sam Darnold was,
Was
the last
Sam
year.
Darnold was a draft pick under Todd Bowles?
It says Sam Darnold here, according to Google, buddy.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. So anyway, I mean, Todd Bowles had his chance. He had his chance to coach in the NFL. It didn't work out, but you know, situationally, Bill Belichick had his chance with Cleveland. That also didn't work out, and you see what he's become. So I'm not saying Todd Bowles isn't the guy. I'm just saying that I think that looking at the Super Bowl odds in the NFC or just the league itself, I would have to say I'm not sure. Looking offhand, I think that the Tampa Bay odds have to have gone down.
Oh,
You know, like they
100%
lose
down.
their head coach, Bruce Arians. Now, you could say what you want about him. He's not a player's coach. He's a dick. He's had a lot of success in the league. Todd Bowles hasn't. He's had success as assistant, ton of it. But
Do you think
the
this is like a
difference is- there's a
layup
very
of an
big
opportunity for a guy like this? Because considering you have Tom Brady, I mean, look, I think, and I think you think too, the Bucs roster, though, like run it back. They didn't run. They're not running
no,
it back
they
with
didn't run
everybody.
it back. They lost a couple guys, and I know that they still have Tom
retained a
Brady. They still
couple.
have a nice offense. They get Fournette back. I believe that Gronk will be back, and the offense will be fine. Offensive line is good, but as you start losing pieces on defense, which they lost their safety, I think he was a big piece of what they did over their Super Bowl run. I'm not sure he did great last year, but nonetheless, they're losing a little bit of guys, and there's a different coaching philosophy. You went from an offensive guy to now a defensive guy. So we'll see how that shakes out. I believe Leftwich is going to stick around. So I have a feeling that what they're going to do with this is almost going to be a very similar to what college coaches might do sometimes, where it's like, or even it happens in a league where Leftwich is going to be completely in charge of the offense. He knows it. They know each other. The whole team has been working together for years. And Arians and Todd Bowles. How many times am I going to say Arians instead of Bowles?
I don't know.
Anyway, Todd Bowles will start and just deal with the defense, and then hopefully, for the Packers' sake and the Cowboys' sake, it doesn't work out in Tampa.
I don't think. Listen, I think when you make the adjustment to a new head coach, there could be a quick pickup. You know, there could be. It could be a good ramp up period. And because he's not from the outside looking in, he's been in the staff, he's been in the meetings. So, like, I don't foresee a massive drop off, but I do see a drop off, and
Yeah.
we'll see.
Yeah,
And Tom Brady's another year older. I understand he's defying all
Bucs
fucking
are a worse
gravity, but
team. They're a worse team now than they were last
100%.
year at this
Yes.
time on paper.
I
There's
agree.
no doubt about it.
I
Tom
agree.
Brady is a full year older now. You know, not that that matters.
it does matter. I think
I mean, it does.
it
but
will. It
hasn't.
will eventually matter.
Do you
hasn't
guys
mattered.
think that Tom Brady had a say in this? Like,
No,
you don't think he knew that Bruce Arians was going to retire before he
maybe
signed to
maybe
come
that's
back
the only
on?
reason why he.
Oh,
No
shit.
way in hell he didn't know. He knew. He had to have
I
known. There's
think
no
that
way
there
they're
was a-
springing this on him right
there might have
now.
been a chance at it.
A
and-
chance.
meaning like they don't know what's going on, because if they knew he was gonna, then why didn't they just do it?
I don't. Maybe that's
Maybe
what it
for
was.
optics.
Maybe that's what brought him back.
Maybe-
Like,
maybe
look, if
for-
he's going to the front office, fine. And then Bruce Arians might have been like,
There could have been a
that's the-
trickle down
if that's
effect.
the
Maybe.
I
case-
feel like if that was the case and Brady really, I don't know if Brady had a say in it, but maybe he knew about
Because
it.
wasn't Byron Leftwich the guy that went to Tom Brady's house and went to the wrong house the day he moved in? Wasn't it him? Yeah, he went to the day Tom Brady moved to Tampa Bay. But Leftwich went to meet him, like offensive coordinator stuff, and went to the wrong house. Either way, one of them went to the wrong house.
This is the first I'm hearing this story, by the way.
So I'm saying is maybe Bruce Arians, maybe Leftwich was supposed to be the guy, and then that
He went to the wrong house and then he didn't get fucking hired.
And that's it.
honestly
No,
think
but
that-
I get what you're saying.
I think they gave it to Bowles because Bowles has experience. And then if they do start the season, let's say 1-5, 1-6, you make that in-season change. And now Leftwich isn't the guy that's taking the fall. He's the one that's getting the spot.
Yeah, we'll
now
see.
he's got his
They
spot.
signed him to a 5-year.
And I
deal.
know what you guys are
think it's
thinking.
Bad if Todd Bowles is the coach of the Bucks next year. There's no way they're going to in-season fire him with the talented roster they have. There would
Yeah,
have to be
I don't foresee that
for
happening.
that to happen, for the Bucks to be that bad, I think there has to be an epic amount of injuries and just complete collapse in training camp, and a lot of things go wrong. Whereas you almost give the guy a pass because the roster is too good for them to just completely fall flat. What would you consider a failure for the Bucks? I would say missing the playoffs.
I would
would
say
be a
not
complete
winning that
failure.
division. I mean, because
Well,
that
that would
division
entail-
to me,
That would entail missing the playoffs, definitely. So if they make the playoffs as a wild card, get in the tournament, I don't think that you're going to fire your head coach.
But if
unless
they
you're the
if they are
Raiders.
that bad and they are that talented on
We'll see.
paper, that would give you grounds to fire the guy midseason, especially.
I
if
just
Allen
don't
has
think.
that.
I don't.
welcome
think
to
that
Mike
they're gonna
McCarthy era.
lose- I don't think they're going to lose that many games unless there's a ton of injuries. So like, I just can't see it. The roster.
Yeah,
is
you would have
still
to give
good.
him like
And they have a
5
shit
right off the
division.
rip in division. You know what I mean? Like
No,
they
I
could
get
split
that.
with the Saints and beat
But
up
like you
everybody
said,
else.
They're all getting older.
Yeah,
It's
we'll
getting
see.
older too. And
But I will
so-
tell you this. I know what you're thinking yourselves if you're watching at home. I know you're probably asking yourself, well, if Bruce Arians is gone, how about a reunion with Antonio Brown? That's not going to happen. He went on TMZ yesterday and said that he doesn't think that would be a possibility.
You notice how he goes on TMZ
But
and
the
not
best-
ESPN or
But the
fucking Chop
best
Sports?
part about this quick interview with AB is that he said, and I quote, that he will not be signing with any other team. No, reverse that. He's not going to get his ankle fixed. The injury, that's the famous injury from the runoff. He will not get surgery on that ankle until a team commits to him. Give me a break. You're out then. You're
So
out,
he's
AB.
holding his own ankle hostage.
Yes, he's out. He's literally, that's exactly what it is.
So
He is literally out. You will not be playing football in 2022. So get that out of your head. And now we can go focus on the Team Donda or whatever the fuck
I
they're
think
doing.
honestly, he knows that he's out of the league at this point, and I don't. There might be a team down the stretch that is desperate and a contender, but that's a big risk to bring in that psychopath into a locker room that's contending for a Super Bowl. I think that this is just a scapegoat, and when he doesn't get re-signed, he's going to be able to point to a reason why.
Right.
And it's because he didn't get his.
Oh,
ankle
nobody
fixed.
committed to me. Well, that's because you have a bum ankle and you're a nut job.
in their prime,
So-
in their prime right now, who are you taking? T.O. or Antonio Brown?
T.O. in a heartbeat. Without even, see how fast? I didn't even have to think.
T.O. because T.O. might have a little bit more of a drop issue than Antonio Brown, but that's about the only thing.
The year he led the league in drops, he also led the year in touchdown receptions too. So
But point remains, he has a drop issue. Leading the league in drops, I think, is more telling. I think drops is an issue. Touchdowns is opportunity in some cases. So like you could have a guy like Julio, he didn't find the end zone forever. It wasn't because Julio couldn't score touchdowns. It's because he wasn't getting the chances down low for whatever reason. I think that just the size and the sheer like football player that T.O. was, when he wasn't getting the ball,
Love
he was
T.O.
angry. But when they were calling running plays, T.O. was putting a hat on a hat and he was blocking people. Way better football player, and the passion. T.O. wanted to win. They were both psychopaths. But T.O. in the way that
T.O.
you
is
see-
more of a fun psychopath than this guy. This guy's
But you know, if you talk to an Eagles fan, I'm sure a lot of Eagles fans might be on T.O.'s side and not McNabb, but made it a real tough situation for McNabb to succeed in Philly.
I mean, it's also very tough to succeed when you're throwing up on the sidelines like Willie Beeman in the Super
Yeah.
Bowl. All that chunky soup
I
came
don't know.
chunky out.
I don't know that was nerves, man. Like I feel like
He choked his.
What was it then? If it wasn't nerves,
Yeah, right. He had the flu?
Maybe he ate a bad glizzy at halftime, and you know the hot dog came back up. Who knows?
I don't
bro?
think he
Maybe
can
he's
handle the
drinking
pressure,
Hennessy
bro.
or
The
something.
Donovan McNabb from Always Sunny is a better Donovan McNabb than in that Super Bowl.
Look,
but
McNabb, it sucks that that's the moment that defines his career because McNabb was a really good player. In the
yeah, he torched Dallas a bunch of
Really
times. Bunch of times. And,
like that 30-second play.
yeah, right. There was like 1 4th and 18. He hits. What's this guy? Who's the guy over the middle? Name that player. There's a trivia question. Who was the guy on that 4th and 18?
Was it against the Packers?
He got up and does the belt.
It's not 4th and 18. That's why you threw me off. It's Freddie Mitchell. It
Freddie
was 4th and
Mitchell.
26. Yeah.
4th and what?
26.
Oh, sorry, I gave him less credit. 4th and 26.
Don't talk about
It was
We're
like
not talking
forever.
about that, guys.
I
That's
know,
not
it's-
what we brought up.
He's starting to get
Donovan
like
McNabb.
the cold sweats here because
All
we're
right,
talking
fuck
about
Donovan McNabb. He was always fat anyway.
chunky.
He was a chunky quarterback.
He was a big dude. Yeah.
Campbell's.
Campbell, chunky. All right. So anyway, that's our NFL news for today because it's, again, draft season is among us. We'll get into, I was looking right at the ring light for whatever reason, so that was dumb. I was like, well, I'll tell you what. No, draft season is on its way. And of course, we'll get more into mock drafts and stuff as that time goes on because believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow is April, which is nuts to me. I don't know where this year is going already. Like it's month 4 already. So before we get into the biggest of the bigs with our boy the Toast, I do want to talk to you guys. What's wrong now?
Nothing.
So you realize like when I'm like in the middle of something,
no,
and then
if
stuff
you're in
goes
the middle of
down,
something, if
I don't know what's happening, so I think it's jokes on me.
No. That's it. I mean, I'm not. We'll talk about what I think that is after the show because I don't want.
It's called insecurities,
It's called
Chris.
insecurity, Dave. But no. Here's the thing: if I have to address you, I'll be like, Dave. You know what I mean? Like if we're talking, if I'm whispering here, just pretend like it's not happening because. You know, like if Anthony.
Would you like to share that with the rest of the class?
Anthony's got to take a piss. Let him go piss and just pretend like he didn't.
No. Every time he goes piss, I have to announce that he's going piss. So anyway,
And fucking grip it and rip it, bro, right on the floor. He
just all over this beautiful, brand new done studio as of yesterday. By the way, that was the Chris's question to me. The bricks probably look the same on camera, but we have like nervous ticks over here where we knew things were a little off. So
just to be clear, they do not look the same on camera. They look much better.
They look much better
Yeah.
according to Chris, and I believe that too. Actually, now that I look at it and I look at ourselves, but Chris said, "Are you mentally prepared for this project?" Yesterday, I was like, "No," and all of a sudden we're just taking walls down and shit. I'm like, what a mess. But anyway, this show, almost said podcast again, but again, if you're listening to it on podcast form, we appreciate you as well. Always, those listens keep going up and up. The podcast network growing, so be sure to subscribe to all of our shows that we have here. And what you will hear on all of our shows across the network is a guy named Michael Fusco. I don't know why I couldn't say Michael. Michael Fusco has partnered up with the Fusco Insurance Agency, partnered up with Chop Sports. Very pumped about this. The Fusco Insurance Agency offers personal and commercial lines, life and health insurance. They even help with retirement, employee benefit administration. And if you need benefits, if you're a small business owner and you want to give your employees benefits, he's your guy. He can set that up as well. It is tax season. I'm waiting for an email back from my guy, which again, we probably should have used Fusco, but whatever. I digress with that. He's quicker. But we will, he does prepare taxes with the Prestige Tax Group, tax preparation, planning, bookkeeping, payroll. Toast is in, so we'll get him in a second. Good job, Toast. And asset protection, life settlements. And of course, if you have bad credit, Chris, you can go to Fiscally Fit Credit. And I always say that, and I know I'm not talking about you, but I want you to think that I'm talking about you, but I'm not talking about you. If anybody in this studio, since there's 54 people in here now, if anybody has bad credit, go check out Michael Fusco because he'll help you with that too. His promise to you is that you'll lose no money. You're not going to lose $1 going with his company and his services, but what he will tell you is that you could potentially participate in all the gains with a cap. You can't become a millionaire or anything like that, but maybe you can. If you're looking for a good blend of personal experience and expertise, you've come to the right place. A dozen services. Check them all out at FuscoInsuranceAgency.com. Dina, we promise not to interrupt you with any laughter. Maybe, you know what? I don't promise that.
I just won't look at you.
Dina, there you go. Dina has something from Lilac and Sage Boutique.
Ladies and gentlemen, Lilac and Sage Boutique is a veteran-owned LEO spouse-operated boutique based out of North Carolina. Their goal is to continue their service by providing affordable clothing to other hardworking women. They ship orders all over the world. Be sure to check them out at lilacsageboutique.com and join their mailing list so you don't miss out on any new arrivals. Use the promo code CHOP10 at checkout to get 10% off your purchase.
Awesome. And of course, we also want to let you guys know that if you're checking out our website right now, chopsportsmedia.com, the guy responsible for that is Steve Aspara. Go check out steveaspara.com. He's the guy that's responsible for the fully functional website that is chopsportsmedia.com, also building ashmerefit.com, also probably talking to our old buddy Mike DeCrosta about maybe potentially building a website. He's in need and on demand right now. He will answer you you quick. He will fix things as they go. He will literally live update you as you say. And Chris Payne, this is why we don't invite guests. What's the problem? What's so funny? What's Scoop's comment? My energy in number hall going to be wrestling. Oh, back to that old deal. Anyway, it's time now to talk a little baseball, ladies and gentlemen. And for us to do that, we got to bring on our boy, none other than the Toast. Toast, bro, good morning.
Oh, he's rocking.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you guys?
Oh, we are just grand. It is officially 7:30 in the morning in Alaska, so that's why you know this guy's dedicated to the craft. He is up. He is ready to rock. There's a lot to go over because we're basically talking to you today about a fantasy, fantasy baseball per se. Me and Gooch are going to make our season-long predictions next week. We'll probably bring you on for that too. But today, fantasy talk. The top players in each position, the guys to draft, the guys to avoid, the guys that you think might have a surge of a season. And then before we let you go today, we're going to actually – you can tell us your prop bets for the futures because the future prop bets are the ones that pay out the most if you grab them now. So first and foremost, we're not going to tell anybody your allegiance. So everything that Toast is saying right now is literally on a gambler's perspective. So there's no such thing as a Yankee fan who's like me, where I'm saying, well, you got to take Gallo, bro. You know what I mean? Like, it's not that. He's going to tell you how it is and tell you exactly what to look for. So
let me give Toast a little breakdown here. So Toast, we're gonna skip catchers and we're gonna skip relief pitchers here. So we're gonna start off with the starting pitching and just give me a couple guys, maybe your top 5, however many you got ready for us. And then what we'll do is we'll go over a couple guys maybe we should avoid and then a little sleeper action. And then we'll do that through the positions and then go from there. How you feel about it?
Yes,
you
sir.
ready for starting pitchers?
Yeah. Oh yeah, we're ready to go.
All right, let's do it.
Yeah, so starting pitchers. So do you guys want me to talk about strategy at all or just start going on names?
Well, we're going to talk a little bit of strategy after the fact too, and maybe we'll sprinkle it in throughout because I have some. Okay. I think we differ on philosophy, and I just want to get a couple of these names out. Yep. Maybe we'll do it after the pitchers.
Yeah. So after the pitchers, we'll go into some philosophies here because one of these gentlemen are pitcher heavy and one of them aren't. So tell us, give us some pitchers to look for.
Yeah, so a couple guys that I've been looking at. Everybody knows the Corbin Burns, the Garrett Coles, the guys like that. A few of the names that I have written down that you're going to find later in the drafts, past not the first 2 rounds. Guys like Aaron Nola, Fat Lance Lynn, Frankie Montas, Yu Darvish. All those type of guys that are going to get innings and strikeouts. Strikeouts is one of those things that I look at the most. And those are some of the guys that I'm looking at that they can get wins as well. I think Frankie Montas isn't going to be in Oakland for that much longer. I think he's probably going to go to a contender.
Yankees.
Shane, I got it. Hey, that'd be awesome. So Shane Baz and Shane McClanahan from Tampa Bay, they're also strikeout guys. They're young kids. So those are a couple of pitchers that I like to take a look at. I will say, though, there is a couple guys that I want to avoid that I do not want on my team. Guys like Justin Verlander, Chris Sale, Chris Bassett. Anybody that's coming through injury or coming to a new league is going to be on an avoid list for me.
I'm interested in Bassett. I've been doing some mocks, but Bassett's been a guy that I've been targeting just on the sheer value of where I've been seeing him go in drafts. I understand the injury concern, but Bassett has ace stuff if he's ready to go. And on that rotation, he's going to be matched up against a lot of, I guess, back end of the rotation guys, at least in the early going. No?
Absolutely, but I do think that for me, I was never a big Bassett Manaea guy from Oakland, and I think that moving from Oakland in a park where you can get easy outs to Toronto, it's just it's just a lot, and I don't think that I don't know. I'm just not a big Bassett guy. So that's just where I'm at. I understand it.
Bassett's on the Mets, though. So I guess
that's what
is very different.
That's what I meant to say, yeah.
But nonetheless, I understand the sentiment you're saying because Oakland's ballpark with the foul ball territory is just insane. So it is a little boost for Oakland pitching out there. I'm still high on Bassett a little bit. And
he's the third guy in the rotation in the Mets
for a while. Bassett's a third, yeah.
Wow, that's
as a third guy in the rotation. That's a great spot for him. Like I totally get it, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, maybe we got a little conflict on Bassett. So I know Toast won't be taking Bassett, so I'm good there.
So if he's on Toast's no
You write
draft
that
list, then he
down.
will not be
'Cause me and
drafted by
Toast are
Toast on
going head
Sunday.
up. Me and Toast are going head up on Sunday in this Chop Sports Fantasy Baseball League.
I'm excited. I haven't done any research yet, so I should probably. That's why I
that's
want
the
to do
real
that
reason
today.
Why Toast is here. All right, so guys, to avoid, I have a question for you, and if you don't know much about these guys, just feel free to say pass. I'm going to plead the fifth on this one. What do you think of the prospect from the Cincinnati, Nick Lodolo? They're saying he has a chance to make the
I
rotation.
haven't looked into a whole bunch of prospects as much. I can't give you a great answer on it.
All right, fair point. But just in case, guys, if you have if you're in a draft in the back end and you're looking for that one guy, maybe you take a flyer on a Nick Lodolo, starting pitcher for the Reds. They're saying that he's one of the better pitching prospects in baseball and he's ready for his MLB close-up. You might not get him out of the gate, but there's a very good chance that you could nab a guy like this in the back end, like maybe your last pick, or even monitor him for some free agency as he becomes available in your league.
Once the draft is over, everybody's a free agent. Like that's an immediate thing.
Well, no.
Is everybody subject to waivers?
If your league is run properly, the waivers will clear once. So it'll go in reverse order of the last
draft.
pick
So the
made.
12th gets the first. Blah,
So the
blah, blah,
12th,
blah, blah. Okay.
whoever had the last
Just
pick in
wondering
the
how
draft or the last pick made in the draft. So if it's an odd number, then it would go to the first pick.
Got it.
But
Curious.
in this case, it's an even number. So it goes to the last pick and it clears overnight. And once it clears, then everyone becomes available. Yes.
Cool. Done. All right. What do we got now?
So let's just get into strategy. Leave the pitchers up for a little bit because
Okay.
I don't want to confuse the people. But right now we'll talk a little bit about strategy. I personally am one of those guys, like, all right, first I'll break down what I think the three strategies will be.
Would you like to go over your accolades first in fantasy baseball?
Well, no, I think that the people that know
Okay.
me, my acumen.
But
speaks
ask
for
Rob.
itself.
Ask Rob this morning. He was just like, I dominate. I'm like a 20-time champion. So everything that he's about to tell you,
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you
serious.
my strengths in fantasy baseball. And this
what's
is
that say? Wait, what's that say, bro?
It's a major strength here. I don't know what you're talking about.
No, it's
Great fantasy baseball champion.
Oh, there you go.
He's wearing a baseball championship T-shirt.
All
I
right,
love it.
so in fantasy baseball, what happens is it's a tough league to do because with the way I run my leagues, it's a daily lineup and you get 10 pitching starts and you're allowed to sub your hitters in and out on a daily basis. So for that fact, you have to really be up on it. A lot of people that join leagues don't. So I have that advantage because I'm on top of it. 1. 2, towards the stretch run, when fantasy football is starting to ramp up, a lot of guys are kind of in the dog days of baseball season and they're really their interest lies in football and they're just bridging the gap. And once fantasy football season prep starts, a lot of research, a lot of the baseball stuff goes to the back burner. But guess whose team doesn't go to the back burner? Mine. So I stay on it, and a lot of people don't. Other than the fact that I'm a psychopath with my stats and prospects and things like that. So I have that. Now, my philosophy. We'll talk about philosophies. There's people that go pitching heavy early. That's not mine. I'm more of a build your lineup guy. There's no right or wrong way. I guess it's like how you enjoy watching baseball. I want home runs. I want to have my guys do well in the lineup. And then I feel like there's a good chance you could find these pitchers more lately than not. There's a bunch of guys like the Lance Lynns of the world that come out of nowhere and they turn into these like ace type pitchers. So there's going to be plenty of those guys this year as well. And there's a very big risk with picking stud pitching early because I feel like they're typically injured more often than position players are in baseball. That's the reason why.
If they miss 2 starts, it's like 2 weeks worth of baseball.
Yeah. But when you got a stud pitching staff and that's built for the playoffs. So if you make it to the postseason and you have stud pitching, it's very tough to beat a team in the postseason that has pitching because pitching is way more consistent than hitting. So I will agree that there's like 2 sides of the coin here. And pitching is consistent. So when you get to the postseason, just like any others in regular baseball and football, defense wins, and it's very similar. Now, the other philosophy would be to take the best available player as he arises and then kind of just let it sort out in the back end and you fill out your roster as you will. I think that's the worst out of the 3. I think you have to tier players out. You have no choice but to look at and identify the positions where they're very weak, and you have to target those guys, those positions early, because when people don't do that, you find yourself picking a bad player because of a team need when there's 20 good outfilders left.
Toast has a point here. Go ahead, Toast.
Go ahead, Toast.
Just to jump on Chris's point, when I do my notes, you probably won't be able to read it, but it's first base. I have 3 tiers. Second base, tiers.
It's all about
Absolutely,
tiering it out.
couldn't
So the
agree
tier
more.
system, and
Could not
that's
agree more.
universal. That's universal in fantasy sports. You should be tiering out all your players. Do not identify. You might have a favorite guy or two, and everybody does as fans, but don't identify players that you're targeting. Identify groups of players that you're targeting. So when it comes time to pick that position, you look.
You have a couple options.
I have 6 first basemen that I'm down to have on my team, but only 2 shortstops. I have a very good sneaking suspicion that one of these first basemen will make it back to me. So I'm going to take the shortstop now, even though he might be a worse player, or you might be reaching a little bit for team needs and just filling out your roster the right way. That's the move to make, because, you know, Matt Olson or Freddie Freeman, flip a coin on any given game or week, one guy's going to outperform the other. So there's no reason that you should split hairs over that.
So Toast, so he's obviously very fill your lineup. You're the other way. You're a big pitcher guy.
Yeah, so I get 2 things on first things first, speed and pitching. That's all I want. Listen, here's a crazy stat that I always like to tell people. 29% of all steals are projected in the first 36 picks. So if you don't get a guy that can steal bases and has speed on the base pass, you're not going to get him the chances of you getting someone later like that in the leagues is later. Guys like Alberto Mondesi and Miles Straw, you could get those guys in the later rounds, but you want your speed and stuff early. And then the pitching, like I love pitching. And like Chris said, it's how you like your baseball. I like watching pitchers. That's my favorite thing to do. Knowing your pitchers is probably the second most thing. I like to get speed, but knowing that range of, Chris talked about tiers, those pitchers from tier 3 to 5 or 2 to 6, those are the pitchers that you really want to get, because the difference, like I have this written down. Take this, for instance. Julio Urias last year, number 38 on draft boards, had 176 innings pitched. He had 14 wins, 75 strikeouts, and a 3.56 ERA, right? Number 94, so 60-some spots later, is Frankie Montas, who pitched 178 innings, so 2 more, had 2 less wins at 12, had 20 more strikeouts, and had a little bit worse ERA. So the difference between those 60 spots is so tiny.
Yes, but that's also part of the reason why I go for hitting earlier, because of of the ability to land pitching late. But at the same time, make no mistake about it, there is no guarantees at 194. So you have to land on those picks. It's just that I have confidence in myself that I will. And it really comes down to massaging the back end of your roster with the prospects and things like that. Now, Toast, let me ask you a question. So obviously I know you're a big stat guy. When you're looking at pitchers, what's the biggest red flag stat, or in contrast to that, what's your biggest identifier that you'd be like, okay, this jumps out at me? What one are you looking? Is it whip? Is it Ks per 9 innings? Is it strikeout to walk ratio?
3.
Okay.
I have 3. I want a strikeout rate over 27%. I want a walk rate below 7%, and I want a ground ball rate over 45%. If I can get all 3 of those, I know I'm going to have success.
Okay, and now on the flip side of that, same question for hitters. Now, what's something that you would avoid? Obviously, it's the strikeouts. That's what I typically look to avoid. I look for high slugging percentage, high OPS.
Slug, whiff, and Ks. Slug, whiff, and Ks.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. So now
wait.
Okay, sorry.
Is whip now? I'm confused.
WHIF.
All right.
What the hell is that?
Did they just create another one for hitters now? It's
walks, hits, innings. What?
Go ahead.
What is whiff?
What's the acronym? Walks, hits.
He's Googling.
Nobody knows. Nobody knows. And I'm like, wait a minute. Time out.
It is a good one.
I don't know off the top of my head, but yeah.
That's all
fair.
good.
That's fair.
All right. So moving off the pitchers now, as we move over to first base. Here are some of the top first basemen on everybody's list. Obviously, Freddie Freeman, Vlad, Olson, Muncy, Goldschmidt's even popping up on some lists.
I have a disclaimer here. So,
and there's a disclaimer.
I do have Vlad's listed in my third baseman graphic, because in the list that I was looking at, they had him listed at third base for whatever reason. I'm not sure what your league's eligibility rules will be, but there is a good chance.
Well, what's your league's eligibility rules? You're running the league.
Well, I'm not getting into that. I'm not giving you a fucking class right now on our.
Yeah, you are. I'm taking notes.
I'm giving a general fantasy baseball course right now.
Yeah, you are.
So I'm saying, depending on your league rules,
you
might or might not have some virtual dual eligibility at all these positions. And I think that's another major issue or factor that you should look for if you're looking at 2 guys and they're very similar in stats. You could look at where they project to have a guy, because he might have played shortstop last year, but within 10 games of this year, he'll be a second baseman.
Okay.
So you gain eligibility and you maintain previous season's eligibility through the next. So you and then become eligible to start at 2 separate spots, and that is a very big flex when it comes to the daily lineups and being able to manipulate with injuries and things like that. So
who's jumping off the board for you, Toast, when it comes to first baseman?
So I'll just go through my tiers really quickly. I have Vlad and Freddie as my top 2 guys. And then my next tier is going to be guys like Goldschmidt, Olsen, Max Muncy, Pete Alonso. But a couple guys that I like. I do like Pete Alonso. His strikeouts and stuff worry me. But I do think that he should have some success.
I've been seeing him go pretty, he's fallen in drafts. So he's a name that jumps out when he's available. When I've been seeing him, it's like, you can't not take this guy there.
And that's kind of why I had him mentioned, is because I like to catch up on my power late. And I know that we differ a little bit, but I'm already knowing that I'm probably going to stack some arms. So that's another reason why I did that, because I know that he's going late. Rhys Hoskins, is the guy that comes from Philly. I understand that he's going to be lowered down on the list, but he had a career year last year before he got hurt. He's definitely a 40-homer, 100 RBI guy. I mean, health is a huge concern, but again, I like Rhys Hoskins.
They added Castellanos in that lineup too, so the Phillies lineup is a little bit improved from last year, so that's going to help him see some better pitches as well. I agree.
Absolutely. Same thing with a guy like Jesus Aguilar out of the Marlins. Soler's in the lineup. Younger guy is in the lineup. He could easily have 100 RBIs again this year. He likes playing in Miami. Again, these are guys a little bit lower. Same thing with Brian Mountcastle.
Aguilar's strikeout rate is way too high for me. I've had my experience with him when he was with Milwaukee. He had that one career year, and then the year after that, he was a complete bum. And I kind of fell off the whole bandwagon with Aguilar, and then last year he did bounce back nice with the Marlins. I think it is a good situation for him. But I'm still.
And again, these are guys later in the drafts. I'm not saying go pick up Jesus Aguilar in the 5th round. Okay.
Yeah. And we had Kyle dropping in the comments with a Spencer Torkelson. I know that you're a Detroit Tiger guy, right? You bet them a lot last year. Casey Mize and Torkelson. That's two guys to keep your eye on with the Tigers roster for sure. They got some boppers now. Torkelson has a chance to. I don't know if he's going to play out of the gate.
Tigers seem to be the hot commodity as far as picks and futures and division winners.
They typically finish. Lately, they've been finishing bad in the standings for the last couple of years, so they do have some high end talent in the minors right now for sure. You have any thoughts on Torkelson?
I mean, he's not on my boards. I mean, I love the kid, but he's not going to be on my roster. He's not going to take a roster spot. I can tell you that.
Well, I'm just giving you a heads up. There's 36 roster spots in our league, so you might have to add some back end talent.
And just so you know, viewers at home, talking to Scoop, I listen to the expert. I'm a Yankees fan, and this is like I haven't played fantasy baseball in like I don't know 15 years, so it's been a long time since I've actually drafted anything. So I'm actually taking all of this in right now and consuming all the knowledge and doing all that from the outside. Okay, I'm still on the show. I'm still here. Okay. Anyway, moving on. Second base. As we move on, we have guys like Marte from Arizona, Simeon, Brandon Lau, Altuve's bitch ass. But when we look at second baseman, I'll start with you, Gooch, or should I start with Toast again? Okay, we're gonna start with Toast again
because I think this graphic is also wrong, but it's the same kind of deal where I think Bo Bichette is in the graphic as a second baseman, but they list him as short in this book. Anyway,
stop going by the book.
I went by like the ESPN site. So these guys are multiple eligibility in my league.
All right. So anyway, second base there. What? Fuck Bichette. Oh yeah, I like him actually. Yeah, I like him. I like his dad. Like that whole Dante Bichette and Bo Bichette. That family.
Him every time
that lineage is dope. Anyway, so as Toast is covered by Altuve, that's my fault or our fault here. But anyway, second base. Who's the guy? There you go. Get tall. Anyway, so who do you like at second base?
It's funny
Toast?
how Altuve is the tallest graphic.
I know that makes no sense. The biggest oxymoron of all time. You're right.
So I'll tear it off again really quickly. My first tier, I got Marcus Semien, Ozzy Albies, and Jose Altuve. Second tier, Whit Merrifield, Brandon Lowe, Polanco, Jake Cronenworth is another one. One of the guys that I really have my eye on this year is Ketel Marte. I just really like the kid. He just got his money. He had 97. He has stolen bags, or he had 10 stolen bases last year. He scored 97 runs. I really like this kid. And then obviously guys like Trey Turner and Ozzie Albies. But again, those are top end guys. Guys like Jake Cronenworth that play for the Padres have so much talent that can play pretty much multiple positions. Those are the type of guys that I'm targeting right now. I'm curious to see
second base is one of those positions that are typically thin in fantasy baseball, but when you look at it this year, they're actually pretty deep at second base. And second base is also that one position where a lot of guys that play other infield positions end up gaining eligibility at second base, because I think it's the easiest easiest position in the infield to play, in my opinion, is second base. So when there's a guy that's maybe challenged at short and they get a better shortstop, the typical thing would be to move a guy to second. And then also those utility players that don't really have the glove in the field, but they have the bat, they find the spot in the lineup for him at second base a lot. And you didn't mention LeMahieu in your tiers. Do you have him?
Yeah, what the
else?
He's on my avoid. He's on my avoid
He's on your
list.
avoid list. Now, is that because he doesn't have an actual position right now, or is he just like, because I think it's only going to take.
Are going to be there.
The at bat, I was just going to say the at bats are going to be there. He's won a batting title within the last 2 years. So, like, how does he become just one of those avoidable guys? Toast.
I'm not there yet with the Yankees. I'm a Yankees fan, but I'm just not there yet. I'm just not there. I just think that there's a lot of other things with like guys like Gene Segura and Tommy Edmonds and stuff. I just think that there's a lot of other spots that you can find value, and I think that you're going to have to pay for DJ in some drafts because he's a Yankee.
See, I understand that aspect of things, and having done drafts and typically on the East Coast with all Yankee fans, I've had that issue in the past where you have to reach a little bit. And I feel like that's like one of the major things that I've learned over time is to not do that. And I'll be completely fine coming away from this draft with no Yankees. I'll be okay with that.
Guess who's going to be heavy Yankees? This guy. And that's why I'm not going to finish
anyway.
well.
I'll scoop a few up, but it's a tough one for me though. I think that LeMahieu has a very solid chance to bounce back, and you could see LeMahieu finishing the top 20.
The time. He just needs the time to bounce back.
Now LeMahieu though, if you look at his
career,
he doesn't
have high barrel rates. He's not even hitting the barrel anymore. Like, come on.
If you look at LeMahieu's career as a whole, he hasn't really stuck in many places. Like Colorado, he won a batting title.
Well, the Yankees paid him $100 million, so he paid off.
I mean, he had a great season with the Yankees. That was in a contract year though, and he got paid after it. He got paid after that season, and then since then he hasn't done much. But the Yankees as a whole, you could look at a lot of the guys on the Yankees, and we'll bring up Glaber now too, because I'm pretty sure he'll be playing second base for them too. Yeah. The Yankees as a whole, they have a bunch of guys that you would think underperformed last year. So because of the underperformance, you would hope they kind of find back to their mean, which is like they might not have their career years that they had. But if they even improve a little bit on what they did last year, I do think LeMahieu is a 300 hitter in this league. His second half, he might
have a better chance with a little less at bats.
Kind of pick it up. They got that lefty help now that they didn't have to start the season last year. If you look at all the Yankees down the stretch, all the righty hitters kind of picked it up down the stretch a little bit. Judge, Stanton to lead the way, but LeMahieu, I'm pretty sure in his second half he had a
he definitely turned it up. Definitely turned it up.
I'm not avoiding LeMahieu, but I'm also not reaching for him. And the other thing that LeMahieu brings to the table is he's a super utility player. He's going to end up having eligibility at first all the way through third base, minus the shortstop. But first, second,
is it minus shortstop?
He's not playing short.
He's just saying. All right.
6'6".
Speaking of shortstop, let's move it on over to shortstop here. We have a plethora of guys. This is one of the hot commodity positions of the league, and it starts with what we don't know about Tatis.
I put him on there because he's
listen. He's going to be. He's still one of the best players in baseball.
He's on my do not draft list, and he's probably he's my favorite non-Yankee.
You got Tatis. You got Turner. You got Correa over in Minnesota now. You got Bogart, Seager. Story in whatchamacallit, fucking Boston. And then, of course, Bichette, I have him listed as a shortstop. And, of course, the good little player from New York, Francisco Lindor. So, as the crowd goes wild from deep. But, yeah, so shortstop is loaded, Toast. Where do you start your shortstop scouting in tiers?
So...
Long sigh from Toast. This must be deep.
It's because it's loaded. Like, that's the thing. Like, obviously you want a guy like Turner and stuff like that. It's just really hard. This was like the one position I was actually curious to see where Gucci was at, because this is a position that I don't like. Like, I want a guy like a Bobby Witt or something like that from Kansas City. That's a new young kid that I think that might have some power. Polanco with the Twins, who plays in that thin air out in Minnesota. I'm curious to see what Gooch has on this position.
I'll tell you who Kyle has is 2 words, Javi fucking Baez, which means that's 3 words.
He might strike out 190 times this year.
Yeah, but he looked pretty good the other day.
But he
against
is
the
a Tiger, so whoever's
Right.
on the Tigers, I guess they have a little bit of moxie because they cover every single game in any sport. But shortstop, like I know that everybody
spread
else
too
looks
high.
at shortstop as one of the deeper
Okay,
positions.
actually, can I ask you a question, Gooch? I'll just
Yeah.
ask you a question. How do you feel about Trevor Story? Because that's the name that I get a lot, and I am not touching him with the 10-foot pole.
If you look at his
Your thoughts?
road splits, he can't hit the ball on the road. So I don't know what he's going to do in Boston. Maybe the monster will help because it does help for certain righties. I
Lots
guess.
of doubles.
But
And keep in mind, really quickly, guys, his road splits aren't just like off. It's like a 200-point dip.
Yeah,
like,
it's
not
really
just
bad.
a little bit.
So I expect more of the same, where he'll probably do well at home or better. I think that you're going to see a drop off in his numbers, though, no question about it. Colorado is the best hitting park in the league for the last 25 years. Fenway, while it's definitely not it's one of those parks that you just don't know what it is. Is it a hitter's park? For certain guys, it is, and then
Right.
for certain guys, it's pitcher's park. I don't think that Trevor Story is. When you do a deep dive into his stats, I think the league is going to start to catch up with that guy. And now he's a Red Sox, so you're not going to find me saying anything good about him.
Yeah, no.
Dodge the bullet there. That's a way too big of a dollar value in the years for a guy.
Yeah, he
that
got paid, man.
I'm
He
not
got
sure. I think
paid to
that
go over
I think they're going to have some buyer's remorse, and he'll be a Dodger in a year and a half. But in terms of the entirety of
I
the
really like
position,
Tim Anderson, too.
I'm not a fan of him either.
Tim Anderson? Didn't he beat up on the Yankees too? Yeah. No, maybe. I don't know.
Lose touch for a second. Are we back?
No, he's here.
All right,
He's
all
just
right.
listening
So,
to
yeah,
me talk for the
I'm-
first time in 10
Now
minutes.
it's a deep position, but to me, it's not. I just don't like a lot of the guys. But for that reason, I feel like this is the position that you really need to target early in the draft because there is a major drop off after the starting guys are gone. When I say the starting guys, I mean like there is a list of about 8 guys that you could be comfortable with, but the drop off after the solid ones, they become very, very menial or minuscule. I'm not a fan of the 10 through 16 at shortstop like I am at other positions. Now you could see some value in an IKF being in a better lineup with the
Hey,
Yankees.
now,
And there's a few guys that you could plug and play as a middle infielder, but I say shortstop is the position you go after early, and I'm avoiding the Tim Anderson. I'm going to let someone else make that 3rd round pick. I'm going to pick somebody that I'm really high on, and I'm not going to say who.
What, you won't discuss your
No,
entire
this is
draft
it.
strategy
This-
here? Come
the-
on
The
now.
shortstop position is very, very near and dear to my heart, and I think it's very, very
I'm sure
pivotal
Chris
in
likes
success.
Willie Adames. You're not that slick, bro. Willie Adames is your pick, huh? You're not that slick.
No, I mean, like if I
Trying
had-
to expose the gooch here.
My favorite shortstop, and I'm just going to say it, is Marcus Semien. I think he's been underrated for years, and he's been a league winner
Oh.
for me in the past. But now I think that the rest of the world and the rest of the league is starting to catch up on him. He's a stud. He's been he was, his value previously has been like 6th, 7th round. You were able to land this guy, and he was finishing in the top 10 hitters. That was a consistent thing. The public is caught up with the Marcus Semien thing, and I think he has a chance to be the first shortstop selected. While he won't be, he has a chance to be depending on who's picking.
Meaning if it gets to him, he'll be the first shortstop taken.
There'll be one.
So
gone
there you
before
go.
Then, though, definitely.
So anyway,
Trey Turner's better.
So moving on to third base, a little bit of a different scenario than shortstop. That's for damn sure. Third base, you do have Vlad listed, so he's more or less a utility guy as well, I would assume, from first and third. But in any event, Jose Ramirez, Devers, Turner from LA, and of course the newest New York Yankee, Josh Donaldson. I'm going to ask you, Scoop, where does Donaldson fall in your ranks?
Toast.
That's what I meant, Toast, because I was just looking at Scoop's fucking thing. Sorry. So Toast, where does Donaldson rank on your tiers here?
Donaldson's in my 3rd tier. I like him. Here's the thing. Third base is just it's a danger spot when you're drafting. There's a very few options at third. The top guy like Jose Ramirez, I mean, I think he's in a tier by himself for me. I don't think that anybody comes close to him. Anybody like a Rafi Devers and a Manny Machado is close, but not the same production for him. The guy that I like, Austin Riley from Atlanta. I think that kid has power. He has pizzazz. He has everything. That's the one that I like. Josh Donaldson will have power. I think he's going to have success in that lineup. Luis Urias is another one to keep a name down. I'm curious to see where Gooch likes on this one.
Yeah, we're in lockstep. Jose Ramirez is a clear far and away the best talent at the position. But for that fact means that I probably won't sniff him in any of the drafts that I'm doing because I do like Riley a lot. I think he has the potential to almost step into that role that Freddie Freeman left as the new Atlanta Brave bat and, take on a nice 10-year career or 8-year career with Atlanta. And he'll be in that lineup for a while. He has good protection with Acuna coming back and just all the other guys, the Albies that we were mentioning before. The Braves they're a good team and they're always good. So he's gonna do what he did last year. My favorite player at the position is Manny Machado, but again, I think he might go a little too high for me. There is some sleepers down there at the bottom. I like Josh Donaldson. I think I actually hate Josh Donaldson as a person, but I think Josh Donaldson in this lineup has a chance. Everybody's kind of overlooking him a little bit, but he's having a nice little spring, and he's almost like a batting coach for the team because what he's been doing with the other guys and teaching them some things. He's a very Trevor Bauer-esque in terms of his approach to hitting. So it's interesting to watch that. But guys like Anthony Rendon, I think he has a chance to make a little comeback and shoot up the ranks a little bit with the help that they have in that lineup coming. I feel like the time is now for the Angels to improve in some way, shape, or form, and I think it's going to start with their lineup. And I don't want to give away too much, but I do think Matt Chapman all the way down in like the middle of the teens. I think he has a chance going into that new Toronto lineup with a lot of pressure off him as being the guy. Not that he was the guy in Oakland, but Matt Chapman has some power. His batting average tailed off a lot last year. But his glove is so good that it keeps him in the lineup. And in that lineup, when you're in that lineup on a day-to-day basis, good things are going to happen. So I think Matt Chapman is a nice corner infield target because nobody's drafting him to be a starter, but he's the first off the board for me as like a corner infielder guy.
All right. So go ahead.
Toast got something.
Go ahead, Toast.
Just going on Chapman, I love Chapman too. I didn't want to give his name out, but since Gooch did, he's getting healthy. His Chapman's hip is fine now. He's leaving Oakland. Now he's going to a lineup that he's going to be surrounded by guys. I love Matt Chapman too.
Me too, just because you guys do.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, moving on to the outfield, the most loaded position besides shortstop. We're going outfielders total, not just left field, center field, right field for the sake of time. But anyway, so we start with obviously the Trouts, the Springers of the world, Marte from the center field, and then you have obviously Soto, Harper, Mookie Betts. I mean, the list goes on and on. Who is there? How many members of this top tier do you have in your outfield there, Toast?
So I do tear them out a little bit. I'll just name off some of the guys that I'm targeting. Luis Robert, Yordan Alvarez, George Springer, Kyle Schwarber, Jared Kelenic, Akil Baddoo, Hunter Renfroe. I love Hunter Renfroe this year. Jorge Soler, Michael Conforto.
Sorry. I couldn't resist.
So those are some of the guys. Guys that I'm trying to avoid, Christian Yelich, Cody Bellinger, Eddie Rosario, Estruvel Garcia. Those are guys that I got to see prove it to me. One guy that I really do like that I think that could be a breakout year is Byron Buxton. He is a 5-tool player that has been struggled with injuries, but with that infusion of talent in that Twins lineup, if that guy can stay healthy, Byron Buxton could probably win you a championship.
Oh, wow.
Right, so I have a
bold.
I have a couple questions for you here. So Tyler O'Neill is a guy that I don't know too much about, and I keep seeing his name pop up early in draft boards. And I guess you could blame it on COVID or you could blame it on whatever it is, but he's just one of these names that kind of escapes me a little bit. And I need to know about him, bro. What do you feel? What are your thoughts on Tyler O'Neill? Is he worth wasting a top 5-6 pick on? I mean, your top 5-6, not overall.
There he is.
There you go.
Yeah,
so Tyler
there he is right there.
To watch out for. And then I'm going to just present an issue that I've been having at outfield spot. And being the Yankee fan, I feel like this is something that a lot of guys maybe watching will have the same issue. As I'm coming up into my draft situations, I'm seeing two names that I'm choosing from often when I'm picking at my outfield spot. As I'm going into the third round, I'm looking at Yordan Alvarez, and then I'm looking at a Judge at the same time. And it's like, take your pick. Who do you pick? Who do you rank higher, Judge or Alvarez?
I have Alvarez, and the only reason I have Alvarez is because I think that he's healthy now, and I think that in the power with Correa gone, that him and guys like Tyler Tucker are gonna definitely have to.
I know that's a name that you were kind of holding on to. You didn't want to mention Kyle Tucker because I know that's a guy that we'll hear a little bit about him in a moment, but Now I asked the same question, and I kind of echo the sentiment where I lean towards Judge because I'm a Yankee fan, but I lean towards Alvarez because with that bat and the lack of DH options that the Astros have, he's going to stay in the lineup even when he doesn't play the field. I think Judge gets a little more days off as well, and the injury history that accompanies Judge. Now, the same question when we're talking about a guy that you look to avoid, and then a guy that I really like and I'm looking to target, but understandable would be some people would avoid him for the same reason with Judge, and that's Stanton or Cody Bellinger. Who do you rank higher and why?
God,
it's a good one, right? Because these are situations that a lot of people when they're drafting
Todd, who do you rank?
A lot of people that are drafting earlier, I feel like are going to run into this same problem where it's like, okay, these two guys are left. They're two names that I know a lot. Which one am I avoiding and why?
I would avoid Bellinger. I've watched him a couple times this spring. He keeps on striking out. I just until I see Cody Bellinger put barrel on ball, I have to take Stanton.
Fair point. I will take Stanton there as well.
Giancarlo Stanton, number 27.
We got any other outfield talk?
Who else did I write down here? I wrote down a couple guys here on the outfield. Who? Kyle, sleeper outfielder. Riley Green, 21 years old. He's going to score a ton of runs this year. Do you feel the same way there, Toast?
I don't really have Riley Green. Yeah.
All right. So another pick by Kyle that will fall flat.
Not on my list of guys that I'm worried about right now.
So again, we're gonna punt on.
I apologize.
We're punting on relief pitchers. What are your thoughts on that? Like, I know catchers, there's only like 2 or 3 that are worth noting, and then after that,
who's that? Raymundo and
but you have to be careful not to miss out on a top 9 catcher because then you're going to be playing. You're going to be trying to play matchups and playing splits with a righty and a lefty and all these weird things.
So how far would you let the draft go before grabbing a catcher? You just wait and see the run on catchers?
Yeah, you got to let that.
Kind of like when the quarterbacks start going in football.
Reason to it. If you have there's going to be 1 or 2 catchers that go early, maybe 3 if someone reaches a little bit. But beyond that, you could get a catcher, and you might just see a guy that's like, oh, I need a catcher. And they take the best one on the list, but like way too early.
Mm-hmm.
And the drop off in catcher, it's like you don't know. There's a couple of young talented catchers.
I have to shout out Janine coming in saying Stanton sucks. Just kidding. She has a personal gripe with every single Yankee on the roster right now. And it's literally like 2 weeks into spring training, and I saw a picture, one of her famous pictures that she puts in Chop Sports, like, looks like it's time to suck. And I think it was Severino. And I'm just like, God damn it, give him a chance.
Severino, they put him on ice already. But that's
not wrong.
Shut your mouth over there.
But I like is Donaldson. But now he looks like a weirdo because he shaved his face.
But anyway, but Janine coming in from left field. But anyway, so there is at least your fantasy breakdown as far as some of the top tier positions that you want to look for in your fantasy. But I got to ask Toast before we let him go. Obviously, there is a massive prop list that you put together and you sent on over to Chop Sports Media overnight. A couple of them that you really want to make sure you hit home on as we headed through the 2022 season, Toast?
Yeah, we can do that. So I guess the RBI props is the first thing that jumps out of my mind. If you go to DraftKings or whatever and take a look at the RBI props, the numbers are just insane.
They're gigantic, bro. How many freaking runs are these guys going to score?
So either DraftKings knows something that we all don't, or I'm going to be making some money on all these damn unders. So a guy like Adam Duvall for Atlanta Braves coming off a World Series title. Congratulations. 110 RBIs. I have it on the under. I think his most is like 109 or something like that. They're going to have Marcell Ozuna back in that outfield. Eddie Rosario's playing better. I just don't see Adam Duvall having another career year at 110 RBIs. Same thing with a guy like Eugenio Suarez coming from the Reds to the Mariners.
I wanted to mention that, like, dude, his batting average has been on a steep decline for the last 2 or 3 seasons, and I don't know where they're coming up with that number. Do they have like a loaded top of the lineup? Is he batting behind some dudes that steal bases? I don't see that at all. That's the one that jumps out the most to me. And I mean, Jared Walsh definitely under 104.5. I don't even know where the fuck they get that from.
What are we doing right now?
So wait, so you also have an under listed here, the polar bear, Pete Alonso, under 111. So that would, I mean, does that surprise anybody, or like, are they really expecting this guy to? I mean, 111's a pretty high number. I mean, that means he's going to probably go yard 35 to 40 times, right?
How many guys had over 111 RBI last year?
That's what I'm saying. A lot of these over-unders are a little
different
crazy
of a season, but Yeah, you got to imagine that one injury, and it's not happening. You know, one or two DL stints,
Right.
and 111 is not gettable.
Absolutely. Go ahead,
Salvador
Coach, continue.
Perez had the most at 121.
It's a
Yeah,
lot.
it was a shortened season though, a little bit, wasn't it?
Well, last year?
Was it not?
No.
They just didn't do anything crazy with COVID.
No. I mean, there's a lot of protocols and shit, but like, no, there was no shortened season. There almost was a shortened season this year, but there's not. Looks like you have our Soto under 118. So what are you expecting out of Juan Soto? Juan Soto. All right, cool. So Toast,
a lot of walks, he'll slug very well. He'll get on base. Sorry,
All right.
am I losing you? Sorry.
you're all
He'll
good.
slug, he'll get on base, but I just don't see a whole bunch of guys that he's going to be batting in. That's just plain and simple.
Got it. And now
it's a play on the number.
staying on him. You have listed here Soto over Acuna plus 100. Now, is that like something is that a bet you can make? Like you can bet that Soto's gonna, over Acuna as far as home run totals? You can make that bet? Okay, great.
He's thinking.
No,
yes, you can make that bet. We may have lost Toast on
Yeah,
this one.
you
I
can.
think
So
we
you can go in and look at the home run props.
Go ahead.
All right.
All right, and there he goes. So
Toast, it was a pleasure.
I don't
Thank
really
you
want.
Thank you for
all right.
coming
I
on.
mean,
It's fine. Just we'll move past it. It ran its course.
If he comes back, he comes back.
He's in
But-
Alaska, right?
He comes back. But
What?
look,
He's in Alaska, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
What we'll do is I have a list of these props here. Toast went in and we made
Yeah,
we'll
these
make
are-
a little bit of a post.
Sure.
Let everybody know
let's
what-
do
what
that.
Toast
Let's
is
do
gonna
that.
drop
We
on
could do
the- on
that.
the world.
So that has been a longer episode of the Chop Sports Daily here because we're previewing a lot of the player props. On Monday, I think me and Gooch are going to sit down and break down the entire season as it is already opening week in baseball, as the Yankees will take on the Red Sox and whoever else takes on whoever else. I really don't care about anybody else. But anyway, fantasy baseball draft goes down this Sunday. So we'll post some lineups maybe to the Chop Sports group, see if anybody wants to make any predictions and assumptions that, who's going to take the title.
And tomorrow we'll be doing some NBA stuff. We got a decent matchup with the Nets and the Bucks. If Kyle wants to come on, I know we got a loaded show, but Kyle, you're always welcome to jump on. Either call in, come in. We'll sort all that out. If you got an NBA slate that you want to work through. We also have, what else we got? Jimmy Palumbo coming in.
Palumbo's coming back in here. All-Star Vintage. Dom and Mark will be in here tomorrow as well. Loaded show. It's going to be very flexible, very in and out.
Talk a little more about the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, the Eastern Conference coming down to the stretch here. The Knicks
Heat beat the
got crushed again
Celtics
last
last night, so I guess there's some movement on the top of the Eastern Conference, which
Yeah.
we'll break down. And now that we're down to the final, the final 4 games of the NBA?
And we're also down to the Final Four of the NCAA tournament.
So a
We'll
lot
get
of
into that as
basketball,
well.
We'll get into that as well. So
Loaded show on a
NBA,
Friday.
NCAA basketball, football, baseball.
So for those of you who are watching us for the first time, thank you. Like the video, please. I didn't say that once today. That's my fault. That's my apologies. Like this video if you watched it. If you catch the replay, like the video and the replay as well. For everybody who helped us get to 1,000, thank you so much. The next goal, obviously, 2,000. Bring us on to $2,000 as we make our maze. And of course, yes, Sam, WrestleMania is this weekend as well. The WrestleMania viewing party will happen and take place literally right outside the draft. So we'll do the draft here at the studio. For those who want to join us, great. Maybe even shoot us a message there is a separate Facebook group to determine like who wants to come into the studio, maybe order some food, drink some beers. And of course, we'll get involved with WrestleMania Sunday, WrestleMania Saturday. All you mother effers are on your own. All right. So with that being said, what?
Tonight, Dave is on Fight TV.
Yes, I'll be on Fight TV tonight at 6:00. I got to do some research right now, as a matter of fact, as we crunch. Got a haircut at 1. It's a loaded afternoon for me and for Job Sports. So for Sturch and Gooch, and of course Dina and Rob and Chris Payne and A4, it's hot in here. You can open up the door,
I don't. The fucking sound bounce.
No,
No, I'm just saying right now, you can probably open the door
Yeah, you
as
can.
we close.
The door's locked.
Yeah, it's just so nobody can walk in.
Fire hazard,
It's not a fire hazard.
So is 13 dudes standing in front of the door.
Well, I was told you got to sit on my lap and I can sit next to Rob.
I mean, any of you guys could have sat over here.
Man
I
Heat.
left my phone there.
No, yeah, I saw you army crawl. All right, so this weekend, Sunday, get on over here for the baseball draft if you're in that league. And of course, if you want to watch WrestleMania with me, Wrestling Rob, and of course, Tommy D, and even Gooch will be able to watch Pat McAfee do his thing on Sunday night if he decides to stay. But this has been another episode of The Chop. You're shaking your head.
Yeah, I'm not fucking staying for WrestleMania.
Wow, what a
My only day off, literally.
Okay, and you scheduled a fucking fantasy
I
draft.
don't. Why did I do that, Dave?
I don't
Because
know.
It's my only day off.
You could have
So
did
it's
it.
like-
Nah, whatever.
So
Anyway,
I'm not, if WrestleMania starts at like 9,
WrestleMania starts at like
draft
7.
is at 1. Draft is going to be. I'm going to be hyper focused on the draft. As soon as the draft is over, I'm going to need to like decompress.
Grammys are on Sunday. If anybody cares, who's smacking who? Huh? Who's gonna be the one to smack this person?
No one gives a shit about wrestling anymore, Dave.
What do you talk? That's not true at all.
100% true.
That's not true. It's just because you suck at your job and you never were good and never came out to anything as a professional wrestler doesn't mean you got to hate the product.
Hey, it's kind of funny. I'm sitting on a steel chair. Would you like to see it?
Keep the damn steel chair over there, Chris Payne, Officer Chris Payne. Thank you for joining us today, guys. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Loaded Friday coming at you.
Hey, Rob, meet me at that rock.